All right, sports fans, what's going on? For this one, I'm specifically talking to my NBA fans. We have reached basically the halfway point of the schedule. Most teams are playing their 41st game, 42nd game, so right there, halfway point. So, I'm a Celtics fan. The Red Sox hat, I guess, should give you a clue that I am a Boston fan, born and raised there, so I pay attention to my Celtics for sure. And I thought with it being the halfway point, go ahead and do some mid-season grades. So let's pull this up real quick. We got a tier list. They got a tier list for everything. I absolutely love that website. So because of that, I'm gonna use their template. We got the Celtics roster here. We got our grades. I don't really have to spell it out. S, you're a lead on the team all the way down to incomplete because maybe you just didn't play a lot. So I can't really grade you. That seems fair. Um, I guess you can let me know down in the comment section if there's other teams you want me to do this for. I will say I will do one for the Hawks because I do live in the Atlanta area. I watch the Hawks play, so I'll do one of these for the Hawks probably sometime this week. But I definitely had to start with my Celtics. So let's go ahead, let's get into this, and let's have some fun with it. But also make sure you hit the subscribe button, like button, share, drop a comment as well. Like I said, let me know what team you'd like me to do this for, and if you agree with my grades at the end, of course. But make sure there's not anything else before I get into this. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say, but whatever. Let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so Jason Tatum. I mean, let's be honest. That's an obvious one. S tier. He's playing at an MVP level. He's improved his playmaking. He's getting to the foul line more, which means he's being more aggressive to the hoop. His 3-point shooting has come down a little bit, but I mean, it's still part of the repertoire. I feel like his ball handling has gotten better. Decision making. I feel like a lot of times when teams run double teams at him, he's quickly moving the ball. So because of that, got to put him in the S tier. Now, Rob is an interesting one because he hasn't been back with the team too long. But I feel like he's made an impact already. So I feel like that kind of disqualifies him from being incomplete. So I think current state, I'd put Rob at a B. He's come back. He's definitely influenced the team defensively. I mean, in terms of offense, still hit or miss. There are some games where maybe they don't target him enough. But I would also like to see Rob get to the point where if they pass it to him and he's got like a free throw line jumper, just go ahead and take it. I know he can make it. I've seen him make it, but I feel like he's kind of reluctant to do it because he understands Tatum and Brown are there, and he's fine with his role being, blocking shots, rim running, catching lobs, offensive rebounding, all that kind of stuff. So I can't be mad at him for that, but I feel like like I said, there's instances where he'll get the ball free throw line, his defender sags off of him. Go ahead and pull it every once in a while. Because the thing, if you knock down a few of them, now your defender has to come out. You're leaving the rim unprotected, somewhat. So, yeah, I'll go B with Rob Williams. Cornette. Cornette, I can make the argument Cornette's been kind of a B. I might say a low B, maybe like a B minus type, but I'd say for what his role was, he played short minutes. I feel like he was pretty effective. And yeah, he blocked some shots. He finished around the rim. We saw him, put back some alley oops. He's a crowd favorite. He seems to be a bench favorite. He's got his own little celebration stuff, whatever all that is. One aspect I think maybe missing is he's supposed to be a 3-point shooter, but I think he's kind of in the Rob mentality where when he's out there, he doesn't really look to shoot threes because he understands when he gets it, he's looking to pass it off because there's just better players on the floor with him. So he focuses more around the rim, which once again I'm not mad at. But I feel like if he were able to get a rhythm from behind the arc, maybe we'd see him play a little bit more. Because there will be times where you may want to pull a big man away from the basket, and if Cornette could get back into kind of a 3 point rhythm, then you have to do it with him. Like if Rob's out on the perimeter, yes, the big man can still sag because Rob's not going to shoot a 3 pointer. So I think there's room for Cornette to improve, of course. But I think, like I said, B minus, I could probably go there with Cornette. Pritchard, I'd probably say C, only because with him, he's he's played in games. He hasn't gotten a lot of minutes, and I feel like when he's had stretches where he's been given some time, he's played pretty effectively. But I I'd have to put him below Rob and even Cornette. As crazy as that might sound, I think I got to leave Pritchard at C. Um, Hauser, probably the same thing. And with him, his basic role is 3 point specialist, although he's shown at times this season the ability to get to the hoop. Defensively, he's not bad. He's not, a cone, to use the Pat Beverly term. He moves his feet well. He's very competitive defensively. Now, I feel like his 3 point shooting has slipped a little bit here these past few weeks. And I feel like that's why I would move him down to C. Because early on, when he was like almost automatic from three and everything else he was giving them, I would have put him at B level. But for right now, I think Sam Hauser's a C. Justin Jackson, incomplete. I mean, he plays maybe garbage time, and when he does, it's like the very end. So I can't grade him on that. Derek White, I would put as B. I'd put like a B plus, higher B. Remember last year when Brad Stevens made the trade? A lot of people didn't like the move. And then when he came over and he looked like he didn't fit in with the offense, people really didn't like the move. See people talk about, oh, I wish we had Josh Richardson back. Why didn't we just keep Romeo Langford or whatever? But White this year has been much better. He's the player that I assumed he was going to be, so I was never one of those who didn't like the move. His 3 point shot has improved this year by leaps and bounds. Even the percentage is just a little bit higher. I feel like the confidence he shoots it with now is definitely much higher than it was last season. And because of that, I think that's a big plus. That's something that will pay dividends later into the year, into the playoffs, as a guy who's a threat in the perimeter. We've also seen even more recently Derek White's ability to take the ball from the perimeter, get into the lane, and whether it's like a little floater or whatever, make shots in the paint. And I think at times when the team may be too perimeter oriented, that is going to be a good thing to fall back on if White can find that mismatch, get into the lane, score, get to the foul line. Defensively, he's been good. He's been steady, which is what we knew about Derek White when he came over from San Antonio. Look at that Clippers game. What was it, last week? When he had the big block at the rim on Paul George. Then was against Dallas when he had the block at the rim against Spencer Dinwiddie. So his versatility, has been really good to see this year. And I think because of that, you got to put Derek White at B. Who's next? Got Marcus Smart. Okay. I'll put Marcus Smart at an A. He has taken on the role of playmaking point guard, and he's excelled at it. This is kind of something he's wanted to do for years. I think that's like been the report. He's always been telling Brad that he could handle it. He's shown this year he can do that. I feel like when he's playing, he's averaging like 7, 8, 9 assists. He'll get you like 10, 12 points. He says all the right things after these games. He's always trying to pump up Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and those guys because he said, like I said, countless times in post game interviews, he's just out there to feed Brown, Tatum, whoever else has a hot hand. And I feel like that mentality is perfect for what Marcus Smart can give to the team. He still has that defense that's just menacing. His versatility as well defensively is one of his probably biggest strengths. He's a little bit banged up right now, but yeah, if this team's going to make a deep playoff run, Marcus Smart has to be a part of that equation. Like I said, because of his ball handling skills and his leadership on the court, yeah, definitely an A for me. Gallinari, I mean, he hasn't played, hurt his knee, which is unfortunate because I was interested to see what he would look like with this team with his ability to, spot up behind the three, knock him down at like 40%. He also can play on the block against smaller defenders. So I think he would have added a really good element to this team, but like I said, he hasn't played, so he's incomplete. Jaylen Brown, I'm putting him S tier as well. He, I believe, is averaging a career high in field goal percentage. I think rebounds, maybe assists. I mean, the numbers are there. He's kind of proven this throughout his whole career so far. Each year, he shows a little bit of an improvement. I fully expect him to be an all-star this year. I mean, I don't think he'll be a starter, but he should definitely be a reserve. He's a perfect complement to Tatum. All that talk before last year about them being split up and all that, I think that was foolish then. I mean, you don't hear much now, but it's even dumber to think about now that people actually thought that. They have shown they can play well together. They have, I think Damon Stoudemire came out and said that they're both really humble. And I think that's a key part to why the two of them work, because you see it. If Tatum's going, Brown kind of stays out of the way. Unless it's one of those where Tatum has the ball, gives it to Brown, then Brown looks to do work. If Brown's going, Tatum has no problem giving it to Jaylen Brown, and then kind of moving out of the way and let Brown work. So I think that is where, the relationship between the two of them, I think, has grown. That's why their games have gotten better this year. And I think they realize that they can win a title together if, they're unselfish and all that. And I like that about them. Brogdon, which was Brad Stevens' biggest move of the offseason, I'd go with A. He's been as advertised. Um, he sacrificed being a starter. He's a starter all the time in Indiana. He's come to Boston. He comes off the bench every game, but he plays good enough minutes where he's playing kind of like starter minutes anyway. So I feel like to him, that's why it's not that big of a deal. If he's on the court with Tatum and Brown or just one of them, he's a guy you can run the offense through. Usually he's a very good decision maker. He can knock down the perimeter shot. He can get into the lane. He can play in the mid-range. Defensively, he's really good as well. He's another versatile perimeter defender. And if you have him out there with a bunch of bench guys, then he can put those guys in the right spot. He'll make the right decision as well to get those guys shots or to play make for himself. So I think Brogdon, like I said, has been as advertised, maybe even a little bit more, with him willing to take a bench role. I got to put him as an A. Blake, I'm going to put it as C, even though he doesn't play a lot. But I feel like his biggest impact has been on the bench in practice and stuff, where I've seen some practice videos where he keeps it very loose. The way he interacts with players that have been in Boston, it's like he's been there for 4 or 5 years. He says all the right things. He, talks about how great the locker room is in Boston, which, a lot of people read into that. He was talking about Brooklyn. But anyway, he's fitting with the group. Even in the short stints he's gotten, he's played pretty well. He'll knock down a couple of threes. He takes charges. He rebounds. So, yeah, he's done everything you needed from him for a guy that doesn't get a lot of minutes, but it doesn't seem to affect him because he just likes being around this group of guys. So I put him at C. Grant, I'll put him to B. He's he's been kind of up and down lately, but he's um, he's still a really good 3 point shooter. We've seen him in a role as a small ball big, play well. We've seen him take some guys off the dribble. We've seen him finish out the rim a few times. Defensively, he's a good rebounder. He's a really good defender in space because he uses his body to um, prevent direct lines to the hoop. He can play against bigger guys because, like I said, he's a bigger body type, so he knows how to use his body well. So I think he's another guy who's been versatile as well as a defender because we've seen him guard smaller guys on the perimeter because he has quick feet. He's able to stay in front of smaller, supposedly quicker guys. So I got to put Grant at B. Al, put at B because his impact is more leadership for a team that's still pretty young. Because outside of Horford, the second oldest guy is probably Blake, and he just got here. Gallinari, I'm not going to count because he hasn't played yet. Brogdon is what, 30, 31, so that's the next oldest, but the rest of the guys are in their 20s. So Horford is the steadying force that when things are going bad, he can talk to the players and be like, calm down, this is what we got to do. And I think he also makes sure the guys don't get too high as well, because sometimes you do that, you kind of lose focus. So Horford, as a leader, mentor, and all that, I got to put him at B. And he's still productive. He still knocks down those corner threes or at the top. Yeah. Vonleh isn't even with the team anymore, so he's incomplete. But yeah, that is my, I guess, mid-season report card, mid-season grades, whatever you want to call it, for the Boston Celtics. Like I said, kind of looks like a roster that has the best record in the league, to be honest with you. I'll probably revisit this end of the year and see kind of where the Celtics finish up and how these players did. But yeah, so like I said, I'm definitely going to do one for the Hawks sometime this week. But if you have another team you want me to do this for, like I said, drop it down, comment section. I will respond to you. I'll, like your comment or whatever, and then I'll keep in mind when I do, another one of these, I'll use your team. It doesn't even have to be your team. If you just want to see another team, I don't know, like the Bucks or Lakers or something like that, I'm willing to do this. I'll give it a try. Well, I guess it probably would make more sense if it was your team, because then you'd probably have a good idea. If I maybe disrespect one of the players, then you could let me know about it. So, yeah. So just to remind you before I get out of here, so Thursday night, 7 p.m., I will be back on Sports Empire Network for pregame pigskin, which I'm on there every week. 7 o'clock live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, tikilive.com. This week we have a special guest. I'm keep pronouncing it Carolina Teague. Could be Carolina, but I'm gonna go Carolina Teague will be our guest on the show. You already know, Gene, Godfrey, and myself, we're the regulars, but she will join us on there to talk everything NFL playoffs, wildcard weekend. So great show if you've tuned in, and if you haven't, trust me, you're missing out. It's a really good show. So make sure you join me over there Thursday night at 7 p.m. But yeah, so with that, hope you're having a great day. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, you already know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, notification bell. And if you didn't like it and you want to hit the dislike button, word slipped me for a second there, feel free to do that, and then leave a comment about something you'd like to see me do to improve your experience. So I'm fully open to any criticism you may have. Also, if you want to drop a comment about what you like about the show, I'd appreciate that as well. So be careful out there, be safe, God bless, and I'll catch you in the next episode. All right, have a good one.